with Moses Chenabel. As always, welcome back, welcome back. So, as I have kind of promised, I am going to kind of start, doing a little bit of like educational type of videos. Now, once again, I'm not like a doctor or anything. I just want to share with you guys some of the stuff that I've been educating myself with on marijuana. Because I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of people are just kind of, I don't want to say naive or uneducated, just are unaware of some of the things. A lot of people still have that kind of mentality of like, ooh, weed, ooh, it's a gateway drug, ooh, you're going to start getting into opioids and this and that. I want to kind of clear the air. I want to, maybe educate some of you guys. I'm not saying you guys have to go out after, watching my videos on this and like start smoking. You don't have to. But you know what? I want to at least educate you guys a little bit. Like I said, some of the stuff that I learned, I want to carry on to you guys, let you guys learn. So, but let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, marijuana, cannabis. What is the definition? Cannabis, especially as smoked or consumed as a psychoactive, mind altering drug. Some of the most common botanical names for cannabis is cannabis sativa. Um, Scratch that. Hang on. I gotta read my notes fully. So the botanical name is cannabis sativa. Now, some of the common names that you guys might have heard are weed, pot, herb, dope, reefer, grass, ganja, 420, chronic, and Mary Jane. Those are just some of them. Most of them I've heard myself. Grass, like my mom always calls it grass, because she's an old hippie, former hippie. I shouldn't call her old. She's not old. She's very young. She's 22 years old. Um, but yeah, she's very kind of like old school, 60s. She grew up in the 60s. She calls it grass. Me, I'm like, give me my damn pot. Give me my damn weed. But something that surprised me that there is over 200 street names for marijuana. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Now, some of the uses for marijuana, besides just maybe getting that high, that mental high or whatnot, which would be recreational, basically. That is one way to use it. But there's other ways, or reasons, I should say, other reasons why people might use marijuana. Now, there are certain medical ailments and everything, and for spiritual and or religious purposes. So, yeah, the religious purposes, I'm kind of surprised about, because I'm not like the biggest religious person, but I'm kind of like, I mean, makes sense though. Makes sense. But some of the like medical ailments, I'll kind of get into a little bit of that. Once again, one of those things that I will dedicate, like actual videos for down the road and everything. But there are uh, there's a lot of medical reasons that people are using marijuana. Like for myself, I was kind of open with my first video, just my channel updates, that I often use marijuana. Now, I'm not using like marijuana throughout the day or anything, getting high all day. I usually am just kind of like, okay, I'm getting ready for bed. Got my anxiety up and everything. My anxiety's high. Or I'm gonna have, smoke a bowl or something, or maybe smoke a little joint or something, or maybe take an edible. Edibles too, I'll get into. But yeah, I'm very much so. I like to use it for to treat my depression, my anxiety. I've noticed too, like if I am kind of detoxing or not using marijuana for a period of time, I get more panic attacks. Especially since this year, I think this year I've had maybe two panic attacks, if that, and we're what, middle of August, so I mean that's always one thing. I know that there's people will use it for epilepsy, cancer. A lot of people are using it for cancer to help with some of the effects of chemo and radiation, because it helps with some of the like the nausea and like sickness and everything, not feeling well. It alleviates a lot of that pain, and even like pain and stuff. Like I know one of my sisters, she has arthritis, so she's been kind of playing around a little bit with some CBD patches because I tell her, I'm like, if you're gonna go into CBD, you need a little bit of higher dosage than what I need, like, because you have more pain, and my expertise is not necessarily pain. If I do use it for pain, it's usually those mild type of pains, aches and pains and everything, sore neck, menstrual cramps. Sometimes I usually take Advil or Midol for cramps, but sometimes there are some days where my menstrual cramps are really, really bad, and it's like they're almost away, but I don't want to take another dose of Advil or anything because I don't want it to hurt my stomach. I'll take, maybe 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams of some CBD pills, basically. Like this right here. Yeah, this is called a micro dosage. That's another thing I will also get into in another video. I just want to give you guys some of the basics and everything. But yeah, something like this, actually, I need to get more. I think I only have 2 pills left. Yeah, I only have 2 pills left. But I got some other stuff. Actually, I should show you the other stuff. Like, the example, this stuff. This is some gummies. This is an edible gummy. This is considered a microdose as well. And I don't know how well you guys can see, but it has 2 milligrams of CBD, 2 milligrams of THC. So you pop 1 or 2 of these, this will not get you high. Even with the THC in it, you would literally have to eat this whole bag in order to really kind of feel a buzz. I would not recommend that, but stuff like this, I don't use it to get high. I get it to be able to manage kind of my anxiety throughout the day. And I would not always recommend to take something like this at work, especially if you have never tried a microdose. Try it on like a day off or something just to see how your body reacts. But stuff like this, if I do feel my anxiety really high, I know I can kind of pop one of these right before. Actually, maybe not these yet because I have not tried these yet. But for example, pop one of my pills. Takes about 45 minutes to 2 hours to fully take effect, depending on your weight, your tolerance, this and that. That's other things I need to talk to you guys about too in another video, like tolerances and stuff. You gotta be careful with that. So yeah, those are just some things, like I said, that I use for my anxiety. Very low dosages. That's not something that I would tell someone to treat their pain with because it really is not going to do a lot. They would need more. For example, my sister with her arthritis. She would definitely need at least like 10 to 15 milligrams, I would say, to start out with to even kind of get the pain manageable. So, I'm just saying little things like that. So, but yeah. Okay, so where are we? So I did find a little fact. I want to kind of look more into this, but plus I want to kind of want to see what they mean by the context of this statement. But the National Institute on Drug Abuse (NIDA) says that pot is the most abused drug. Now, I don't know if I want to say abuse, because people definitely can abuse this. People can get addicted to pot. That's a big misconception. You can get addicted to pot, but to try and quit it, it's not going to be as severe as, say, trying to go dry from drinking if you're an alcoholic, or trying to come off meth, cocaine, opioids. So when they say like abuse, I'm kind of like, like I said, people can definitely abuse marijuana, so I gotta be careful. Another reason why I wanted to do this video, but I feel like it's more of like the most used drug, used being the operative word, because like I said, like I've already given some examples. There's many different uses for marijuana, not just like, hey, let's get high, man. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have, like I said, sometimes it's nice to have like a bowl or something, or a little joint, and just relax, pop a movie on, put some music on, just relax. So that's what I mean. That's a statement where I kind of want to look more into with that. Maybe do a future video on that, of like what they kind of mean by that, and do some explaining about things. So yeah. So now let's go on to like stuff like THC, CBD, and all that jazz. Even this stuff. This is gonna be another video where I'm probably gonna have to do more of like a breakdown on this stuff. But like I said, I want to give you guys some of the basic information right now, kind of pot 101 right here. So THC is going to be the psychoactive ingredient that causes the euphoric or high feeling. The higher levels for some may make users feel anxious, paranoid, or have a panic attack. That is something I will get into again shortly. Um, the THC content has been increasing since the 70s. Like, this is how much that and this is something I didn't even realize either, although it doesn't surprise me because there's so many people like crossbreeding stuff and doing this and that, the THC count has gone up. For example, in the 70s, marijuana, the THC content in there percentage wise was usually around 10%, give or take a couple percentages. Now, or actually as of 2015, it can be as high as 30%. So you gotta really kind of, especially if you're a new smoker, new user of using marijuana, you gotta, be careful. Be careful. Start off with something lower, like something that I've been seeing, actually, that I've been trying to get my boyfriend to kind of try is one called CBD Metahazer. I don't know if this is available in all markets, but if you guys see this in your state or in your area, uh, the CBD Metahazer is a pretty much CBD dominant strain. Usually, I think it has about 9 or 10% of CBD. THC usually is about 5.30 something percent, so it's very low. I would say start off with something like that, or go up to as high as maybe 8 to 10%, just to, like I said, see how you will react. And also, too, if you're a new smoker, definitely stick with an indica or a strain that has some CBD in it, like the CBD Metahazer. I'm just saying, and that stuff too that I will get into, like indica, sativa. I will go through that with another video. So I know I'm coming at you guys with a lot of stuff. Don't worry. This is why I want to do, like, a video every so often. Educate you guys, Share what I know. I'm just saying. Um, and then CBD. CBD is, like I said, is the component that is not going to get you high, or at least the mind high. You're going to kind of feel that a little bit more throughout the body. Once again, kind of like if you're an anxious person like me, sometimes I can come home, like I got some of this cherry woo, little gram of cherry woo that's all CBD. If I notice I'm very like during the day, especially during the day for me, because I don't always like to smoke during the day and like get the high. But if I do have to, I know I can grab some of this cherry woo, maybe even a little half bowl, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Even once I kind of feel the like body high wear off after a couple of hours, I still feel very kind of like relaxed for the day, for the rest of the day. So, which is always nice, as opposed to like taking, a Valium or something every like 4 hours. Like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, so it's linked to elements throughout the body for a sense of well-being. Uses kind of going back to some of this, you will notice how I just sort of mentioned some of this with like with my sister and why she would use it. But some of the uses for CBD is arthritis, Crohn's disease, diabetes, and MS. Some have reported to help with insomnia, anxiety and insomnia, which I sometimes have, a hard time sleeping, and also chronic pain. And there's a slew of other uses for it. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But but yeah, I mean, there's so many different uses for it that it's very beneficial. Sorry, sidetracked. Anyway, so but there's several ways that you can consume this. Once again, you guys, this will be another video that I would, probably kind of dedicate to this. But several ways you can use marijuana. Most commonly is smoked. Is smoked. Uh, I personally like I suck at like rolling joints and stuff. So I usually just smoke it out of a little bubbler or a pipe or a water pipe. But sometimes when I go to the dispensary, and this is another thing too, this is a great way for people to kind of like take try new things at a lower cost. I get myself pre-rolled sometimes. This is a huge pre-roll. This is not one that I would smoke in one sitting. This is actually, some of you guys may have seen this on the my Instagram page, but like I want to try this one so bad. Have not tried this yet, but this is 1 gram of pot. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that, even for me with my tolerance, I would not be able to smoke that. So it's even having something like this where it's kind of ready to go. You can light it up if you want. Have a couple of puffs, and sometimes too. I'll be honest, with especially with like the big ones like this, it sometimes gets a little tougher to smoke. Like it kind of like gets clogged and stuff. A lot of times what I'll do, not all the time, but sometimes what I'll do, split that right open. Like I said, it's 1 gram. So that's a lot. Some of you guys, that'll last you for the week, depending on your tolerance. I'm just saying. So things like that I kind of like to do. Usually that's how I consume mine. But there's also edibles. There's micro doses, which I just showed you guys in like this, and the gummies. Which like I said, that's kind of just to help with like my anxiety and stuff throughout the day. Not going to get me high. But there's also like candy, gum, gummies, seasonings, drinks. Another thing that I really like that I get every so often are these like honey packets. It's a pack of 4. It's got I think like 25 milligrams of THC. Usually put that in my tea, and it is, oh, it's so nice. And I'll give you a warning, you guys. Be very careful with edibles because, as I mentioned earlier, it can take 45 minutes to 2 hours to fully take effect and digest into your body. And sometimes, if you take too much, even for me, like I remember a couple months ago, I'd taken about, I would say probably between 50 and 70 milligrams, probably closer to 70 milligrams of pot. I ate, I forgot what I ate. I think like a goobie or something, like 2 goobies or a gummy or something, or maybe a piece of chocolate or something. And literally after a while, I was so, like, even for me, it's too much. So like if you're gonna do edibles, like I said, be careful. Start off, once again, start off kind of low. Try with like 5 to 10, actually probably like maybe 10 milligrams of THC to just, once again, like I said, see how you react to it, see how you like it, see how you're gonna feel, like how you like the body high and everything. That's what it is too. I feel it more in my body than I do my head sometimes. So, which sometimes I'm not always the biggest fan of, especially with edibles, but something that I would recommend, like I said, I would recommend something like the honey. I know there's even little like sweeteners, like little like tonic drinks. I think I even saw for like $14. I've been meaning to try this. Is this like Arnold Palmer drink, like that half and half lemonade tea or whatever. Like they sell that with THC, dude. Like what? So I mean, there's things like that. So there's so many different ways to try this. So if you're someone that does not want to smoke it, uh, there's other ways. There's other alternatives. There's even like ointments and stuff, lotions, Epsom salt and stuff. So there's so many different things, you guys, that it's not just it's not just smoking, like I said. And I think that's one of the misconceptions where people are like, oh, pot, you're using pot, you're smoking pot. It's no. And I like it. I like this too, where with pot you have a little more control over what you want to take, what you find works for you, different little combinations and everything. So like I said, pot is not this horrible bad drug that's gonna make you a junkie. Even out here, one of the things, I don't know if, I want to say, I think there's several states that do this. I don't know if all states with medical do this, but even out here in Illinois, when you look at things that qualify um, for a medical card, some of these places, actually, one of the first things you'll see on there is call for opioid relief or opioid alternative relief. So it's like people who are on meth, or people who are trying to use like methadone to come off of whatever else, they're now being recommended to smoke pot, because then that way you're not so, it helps relieve some of those detox symptoms. I don't know, it's not gonna like necessarily cure it, I don't think, but it's gonna make it manageable and it's gonna help you to get over that. So I mean, I'm just saying, it's a drug that literally is trying to get you off of other drugs, or say even like Valium or Vicodin and things such as that, where it's so easy to you know take for after a surgery or something for pain relief, and then it's out of nowhere you realize, oh shit, like I'm starting to get addicted. Like that's sometimes how quick some of these things you can get addicted with. Pot, like I said, pot you can definitely get addicted to. Your body can get physically dependent on it. So you gotta be careful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say like, oh, it's the best thing ever. There's you can still it's still a drug. You can still get addicted to it, but the addiction is so far less severe from what I have seen, where, if you have to detox from it, you can, so, but I mean, and that's the other thing. That's another video I can do is like how quickly and how harsh an addiction a pot addiction is. Jenna, I'm giving you a homework assignment. See how that is. See what a marijuana addiction looks like and how to come off of it, man. I think I will. I think I will. But you guys, that's kind of your first video on some of the benefits and stuff, some of the not so good aspects. Like I said, first video I wanted to just go over some of like the very basic. A lot of this stuff, like I said, I will eventually kind of do like a dedicated video, like I said, between like CBD or THC, sativa versus CBD, the different kinds of CBD and THC, indicas versus sativas. So yeah, and I might even do like a pot strain review sometime, like this cherry chem that I just showed up. I've never tried that before. I'm curious. I'm curious to try the little indica. Just saying. But till next time, you guys, as always, thank you so much for listening to me, clicking on this and everything. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.